Howdy guys, it's Luke at Geek Gaming Scenics, and this video is about me trying to just perfect something that I've never liked the look of. In modelling I can't purchase, or I've seen people make gauze bushes and never been really gone, wow, that's an amazing gauze bush. So every now and again I always like to try and make them. When I'm trying something, I try all possibilities, so I use a product that I absolutely hate. I hate rubberized horsehair, but I always try it because I've got a lot of it and I'd love to find something one day that I can use it on that I'm happy with. Hence why I'm trying to cut it with right-handed scissors in my left hand to try and stop it looking like mangled hair wrapped around dog crap. So what I do is I cut into it to try and give it more branch-like structures than twirly, twisty pubic hair. Once I've got it into some sort of shape that I'm never happy with, I thought, get my gloves on and let's put some static grass on to give it that sort of spruce foliage. So I spray it brown, which also acts as a bit of a glue, but to give it more strength as well, I get it with a polyurethane varnish, which also acts as a glue for the bush. I give this a pretty liberal coat, and then we're going with some 2mm static grass just through a sieve, no special devices here. Now, the effect on the rubberized horsehair was horrendous, however, some of the static grass did poke out and give me that sort of spruce look that I was after. It was just very messy, it wasn't as good and as refined as what I wanted. So I thought it was time to bring out the big guns. So to make some space for the big guns, I have to get out the big tough box. However, a normal commercial tough box will do. This is just all I have because I need it for making tufts and making static grass terrain. So I repeat the process again, cutting it not to look like pubic hair, apply the brown, apply the polyurethane varnish, and then put the static grass into the applicator. Now the reason I'm using this style applicator rather than a handheld one is I want the grass to only stick with whatever's charged to the product. So I apply the varnish on pretty thickly. Then just attach the negative clip and then watch the magic happen. Now the grass will, with it being on a machine like this, rather than it just falling on willy-nilly, it grabs and wraps round the fur or the rubberized horsehair, whatever you want to call it, and you can see how it wraps round and it sticks out how I want it to look. Now I didn't like rubberized horsehair, I've never liked it, so I thought, you know what, let's go to seafoam, let's try seafoam. So I repeat all the same processes as before, apart from cutting it because it looks beautiful as it is, and then I apply the static grass. Now this is when magic starts to happen and I start to think I've nailed this. But what I did wrong is I should have left it like that. There was places where I'd missed with the spray and I didn't pay much attention. So I sprayed it again and repeated the process, and I made it far too fluffy. I did kind of like the look, it just lost the airiness and it just looked like a fluffy mess rather than having like branch work with spines coming off. So I cleaned up and I thought, let's try and make this look like a gauze bush. Gauze bushes near me have like little yellow flowers on. So I thought, let's just try sprinkling some yellow foam on and see what that looks like. With the bush being rather dense and rather full, this didn't work too well. Plus the foam wasn't great. So I literally just sprinkled it on and I thought, let's just try, let's have a look. And it looked like crap. It looked absolutely horrendous. I thought, no, this is not working. So I thought, I looked at it, I weighed up what I'd learnt from what I'd been doing over the last half an hour, 45 minutes, to try and think, how can I make this work? And what made this look terrible is the second spray of polyurethane varnish and the second lot of static grass sticking to the grass that had already stuck to the foliage. So now I knew this, I thought it's a good time to try some different ways. So what I did was I just repeated the same process again. However, When I sprayed this, I made sure I covered as much of the seafoam as I possibly could with the polyurethane varnish. I went a little bit over the top because I only wanted to do this step once, because I know if I wanted to come and put a small amount of glue on in a certain area, when I put it back on the applicator again, more static grass will stick to static grass and look messy and too full. So I got as much spray on that as possible to make sure that I completely covered it. This gave a far better result. However, I never got to the bottom of how to make the flowers look nice. That's going to be another day. But I'd mastered the structure, so in winter we could have a nice winter gauze bush just from doing this way. Now this led on to some other ideas I'd want to try, even though I thought this couldn't get much better than this. I thought, you know what, I'm going to try some other methods. Now with the 2mm working, I thought maybe 4mm would look better, especially at our scale, which is rather large. I thought 4mm static will look quite nice. Now I don't have a similar sort of dark colour in 4mm as of yet. I just thought I'd try the darkest green that I've got, which is summer from our range. So I put the static grass in the machine, I repeat the processes again on the seafoam, and then I try this. Now this does look quite nice, however this looks nicer, lighter, as in not as much static grass on. As soon as you start layering up that static grass and getting it so it looks pretty full, it looks messy again. It almost looks like you've done it with a sieve. The grass sort of flies up all over the place, and it kind of works. It kind of looks kind of nice. You could probably get away with some really nice sort of tree sprucey foliage on a large tree, but this didn't do anything for me, and I thought it just looks messy. I'll come back to this when I'm working on something different. This is definitely not a gauze bush. It's just a fluffy mess. Then I thought, let's try some brush bristles, because some gauze bushes that I've seen near me have like a really tight bottom, and then they flare out at the top like really long, thin and slender with spines off that. So I thought, get some brush bristles, stick them down to a base, press them out, rough them up, make them look a bit messy, and then we'll apply the static grass to these little bushes and see how that looks. I should have tried this with the 4mm, but I tried it with the 2mm because that was working best overall. Now what didn't work about this is the branch structure wasn't irregular enough, so I think this needs work with applying longer static grasses on and then applying smaller static grasses to the longer static grasses. It's something else to play with, but it doesn't look great at all. I'm not happy with that look, and it was just a pointless practice, so I threw that in the bin. So how this story ends, I didn't make a great gauze bush. I got nowhere close to what I was happy with. But the foliage base itself looked okay, and I thought a winter gauze bush, I've nailed that bit. Now summer in blossom, I've not nailed that yet, and I need to get to that. But what it did teach me, and this commission just came alive after playing with this, is it makes the most awesome pine needle foliage for tall, huge pine trees. These are the 1/30th scale pine trees that I'm working on for a commission. I was going to use asparagus fern, but this process is so much nicer and looks a million times better on larger scale trees. So I'm happy that I tried to make a gauze bush. So guys, bit of a different video, but this is how I come up with ideas. I have an idea that I want to try and get, there's something in the seat that you can't buy, or there's something that I want to make on my boards look a lot nicer. Gauze bushes was the initial thing. I'm still not happy with the look of the gauze bushes that I'm getting, but we found a good foliage for making pine trees look a lot better. So playing like this every now and again, it's surprising what you find, and it's quite therapeutic. It's very annoying at the same time, and it's very messy, as you saw, but you do discover some things that you didn't think you would discover. And it saved my ass in this case with the pine trees. Have you ever tried anything where it's gone absolutely drastically wrong, but you found a very good purpose for it? If it's happened, let me know in the comments below, or even send me some pictures. It might be a good video series of failures that have turned out to be something great, and we can share that information with each other. It'd be brilliant. If you have, check the details below, guys, send them in, and I might even consider doing a video if there's enough good ones in there. So yeah. Thanks for watching, guys. Thanks for tuning in. If you'd like to support me, don't forget to check all the links below where you can buy all your Scenics needed. If you want to support me any other way, there's Patreon. I spend a lot of time in there talking to people that need the help. And if you need any one-to-one, you can also get that as well. If you want to support me any other way, there's also things like Element Games links where you can buy your Games Workshop and all your sort of models like that, and I get a bit of a cut and it really helps out. So thanks for watching, guys, thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you again for the next video, which is going to be a beaut. Can't wait. I'll see you then.